Hey guys, been pretty depressed for the past couple of days. I'm not really sure why. I guess that's how it normally is though. This particular couple weeks is filled with a lot of stuff though um, that can be rough. Um, I mean the anniversary of my dad's death was January 28th, and it was supposed to be my son's birthday yesterday, and going a little further back on the 5th was supposed to be, it was one of my ex's son's birthdays. Not that that is particularly upsetting, just something to remind me about all that. And while those things do make me sad and depressed, it just it just doesn't feel the same kind of depressed, I guess. um, Yesterday I had to go to work. I was trying to take it easy, but there were still times when I was by myself at work and the thoughts came up. And when I went on lunch, I was just looking at pictures and videos of my son, and I used that time to let it all out while I was in my car. I, it's just hard thinking that the time that I got to hold him and watch him is all just kind of slipping, and it's becoming harder to remember those moments. And the last time I ever held him was after he passed, and that's was such a traumatic event that it's kind of ingrained in my memory, and it's just really, it sucks that that's going to be one of the last things I remember is of him is holding him when he's dead and cold. Um, so that's gotten me depressed, but uh, it just doesn't feel like that's the only thing. I don't know what the other thing is really. I guess I'm glad I can at least make these videos because I don't feel comfortable talking directly to people about my problems because I feel like I'm just a burden. I don't want to make them responsible for my feelings, and even though they say it's okay, it's just, I just don't want to do that to them. And I don't know. I went to this sort of spiritual group thing with a friend, and we all were asked to pick out a crystal for the night to use as like a healing crystal and whatever. And I don't really know, but I don't really think the crystals will heal or anything. I don't. There's a lot of stuff that I don't really think will work, but the symbolism and the energy of the people around you, and and certainly even astrology sometimes seems to be very spot on and helpful. And I have my rock here actually. It's rose quartz, and when I first picked it out, I didn't really see anything too special about it, other than it was kind of big and shiny. But most of the rose quartz are. As I was holding it though, it has a flat base, where my thumb is, so it has a firm foundation, but it also has um, chunk missing. It's kind of hard to see. It's got that chunk missing there, and I feel like me and this rock have a lot in common. So I got it. I feel like if I were to look at it positively, like they would want me to in the class or the group, I would interpret it as, even though I have had that loss and that those chunks of my life are gone, I still have a firm foundation of friends to rely on, and no amount of damage to myself can stop me from still being worth something. That's what I like it to believe, but every time I look at this rock and I feel it, I just feel that loss in it. and 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 it's like the clarity of the rock is just made from my my tears, to be kind of stupidly poetic. It's a crystal of my tears that symbolizes my loss, and I'm kind of holding on to it. I don't know. So I've been seeing somebody and trying to be very open with them, and they're easy to be open with because they actually seem to care about me, unlike my ex and other people that I know that pretend to care and then they don't actually care. Um, but it's kind of a difficult situation. I think I explained in another video, and I'm trying to accept it and move past that, the traditional relationship. Even though, I mean, I do kind of want a traditional monogamous relationship, but there's nobody like her that has shown me this level of care about me. And I don't know if we're both just in like a honeymoon phase, and when I run out of interesting things to say or do that I'll just be worthless and then drift apart. And I really don't want that because I do care about her. And I just wish I could find someone exactly like her that um, that was monogamous, but it doesn't seem like anyone like that exists, and she's as close to perfect as I can find. So I'll stick by her through all of this, and I'll accept any other people that come into her life. And my mom kept telling me she doesn't like when people stay the night all the time and whatever. And today she told me again that me and Clyde don't want anyone staying over anymore. Stupid, because I pay my rent to them. I don't mingle in their business. I don't tell them to hide themselves from me. I don't tell them not to give me their opinion, even though they give it very loudly anyway. I help them fix things. I help them clean. I keep my area clean. And it's like they don't realize that I can't, I'm not the type of person to just go out and be with people like my mom, who would just go out, find a stranger, and talk their ears off. I can't do that with somebody. I have to feel a connection first to even want to go out. And the only connections that I have are my friends and this girl. And I can't go out and see my friends all the time because they live kind of far for me, to me. And I can't go to her house because of complications. So she comes over to see me. And just her being there in the first place helped me get out of the rut, the the trench that I was in after being broken up with and my son dying. She was there. She cared about me. She cares about me, and I care about her. And if I'm forced to stop having that connection just because they don't want her coming over to the house, and I have very little other way to be in contact with her, I'll just start to be isolated again. I don't want that to happen again. I was already a shut-in before, and I had already attempted twice before. If I'm isolated again, I'll probably attempt again. Because I don't have a reason to live, honestly. I don't have any big plans that I want to do. I don't have anyone else that I really want to do things for. I kind of need someone to I need someone to live for. I don't mean God or my parents or whatever, because they've been there my whole life, and it's just after having a family for 4 years, having people there to take care of and protect and work hard for, and then I just lose them. I lost my reasons, and even before then, I had already lost. I mean, before I met my ex before, and before I got involved with her kids and everything, I was already starting to feel hopeless, that I had no reason to do anything. I've already made my props. I've already had my artistic side come out. I've already experienced life and death, relationships, whatever little fame I got from my props. And I just don't know how much more is left out there for me to experience if I don't have someone there to do it with. And my parents telling me that I can't have that connection is essentially just telling me that they don't want me to have a reason to live. They don't. They don't even try to understand. They don't ask me anything. They tell me. They they ask me how I'm feeling, but they don't even care about their part in this. It's selfish. I don't I don't really know what I'm gonna do the rest of the day. I have to work. I've been offered a higher position, and even though I don't really want it, it would be more money, which means at least at some point maybe I can move out of here and get away from them. But then I'll be alone again. I'll have my freedom, but I'll be alone. I honestly just want to jump in that pond and not come back up. And if it weren't so hard, I probably would.